Good morning, Stadia fans. It's Tom here at Stadia Arcadia. I just wanted to put out a short video, really, just to go over some news that broke last night while I was asleep. And that is centered around the update of now being able to play on a higher selection of Android-based mobile devices. So I woke up this morning to see a tweet about a community update. Went on to that, found that Grace had posted that they had successfully rolled out the early completion of the additional Android phones, and that was in UK time. I think it was about 1:45 in the morning. I haven't had a chance to check this yet because my other half has gone to work and she's the only one of the two of us that have a compatible phone. Being an iOS user myself, that means we are still locked out of that content at the moment. But you know what? I think this is a good sign that they are going to start pushing out these extra features much quicker now. And I don't know how many other people know about Test Flight for iOS, which is essentially a Google product testing ground on the iOS platform. So if you haven't signed up to that, I'll pop a link in the description below for you. It's well worth going and adding that to your iOS device, signing up through the account, and you can select which products would be of interest to you to test as they become available. Now, this is a beta testing platform, and as such, it's not open to everybody. You are going to be randomly selected about which products that you select. So just because you do get selected for something doesn't mean it's going to include all of those. But my advice is, if you are purely interested in Stadia, then just select the Stadia portion of that, and your chances of being selected are probably going to be slightly higher. Now, I've been a part of this program for quite some time, actually, for testing out multiple different things, and as soon as I noticed Stadia had come on, I selected that, and I haven't had anything update about that yet. But it would be awesome to think that potentially we could be seeing the Stadia app allow us to use our mobile device to play Stadia shortly. I mean, with now getting past that pro subscription date, which I know some people are going to be hitting today or over the coming week instead, but mine has already gone, so I have remained with my pro subscription, and I'm now at the point where I am officially paying for Stadia Pro, but we're still missing some of the features that we know are coming. So I'd like to think that this is going to be sort of a tipping point now where Google are going to really start ramping out what they give us in terms of getting us that final product. But I'd be interested to see what you guys think about that. So please feel free to drop some comments below in the video. And in terms of the list of phones that are available to use with Stadia now, so we've got the Asus ROG Phone 1 and 2, which I believe the 2 is actually now going to come preloaded with the Stadia app built in as well. So that's something to note. We've also got the Razer phones, both 1 and 2 on there as well. Great phones. I very, very nearly actually picked the Razer 2 over the iPhone XR, purely based on actually the price plans of the two phones. But I decided that having been away from Apple for a long time, I really wanted to give them a try again. So I did, and then Stadia launched, and I was like, why didn't I pick an Android phone for this, if nothing else? But hey, it's going to come eventually, right? And then we've got a slew of the Galaxy phones, including the S20, which is obviously going to be Google's newest phone. I think it starts from the S8. I think that's the earliest one that they've officially said will support it. But again, I'm sure people will find ways of getting this across more Android devices in time. But hopefully it will just be a case that they roll out and they will say every Android device from, I don't know, maybe Marshmallow onwards will have the ability to play this. It may be something newer than that, it may be Oreo, but just to see that they are starting to push this out. I do feel slightly that they may have done this a little bit earlier because they've started to see the backlash of what I was talking to Jason Wingy about last night, and that is with Pro now becoming a opt-in, opt-out model. You don't have to have it, whereas everybody that's been using it so far, either Buddy Pass, Premier, or Founder, has been on their 3-month free Pro. That has now led to, obviously, the Destiny 2 issue, which is if you chose to revert to base, you currently cannot play Destiny without going and purchasing a bundle, if you like, to get hold of the base game again. You cannot purchase purely the base game, so it is being locked behind a paywall for free to play, which obviously defeats the point of free to play. Now, I personally don't see this as a massive issue. I don't think we're going to see the free to play model exist on Stadia for a while, purely because if you have base and you have free to play games, then Google has no revenue from that at all, right? Absolutely zero. And I know that advertising is probably going to come in-game at some point, probably only to the base section, I'd like to think. But I don't feel like right now I would rather see adverts in the game than a forced pro subscription. I mean, the £9 that it costs to give you access to all of the pro games that have come out so far and the pro games that are going to come out in the future, as well as the pro deals, I think the £9 is a fair price. I know there are going to be people that disagree with me on that because free to play is free to play, right? But I think you kind of almost have to separate those terms. So the game is still free to play if you're a pro subscriber. However, paying for the service of using Stadia is kind of separate from playing the games on it, right? I mean, I know at the moment GeForce Now are offering that free play with 1 hour slot, and that will give you access to free to play games, so there is an issue there, but that's a very different service to me, and I feel like the Stadia platform being charged a nominal figure to be able to play everything that is released, I have to be careful how I say that. Obviously, you don't get access to every game. You still have to purchase the games. But I do feel that £9 a month isn't out of the question. I know if I was a big-time Destiny player, which I've said many times, with Destiny 2 I'm not, I wouldn't be that put off by having to pay the £9. I mean, especially for especially for founders and premiers, because we're getting a lot of content anyway, right? So I just don't see the big thing. I know I wish that there was a way that they could do it just to silence the other issues, but I'm not that upset by it. I mean, I've kept my pro sub anyway, so it doesn't affect me personally. And I think the majority of people will probably keep their pro subs, at least for another month, maybe 2. At that point, if we're not seeing all the things that we were hoping to get, then yeah, I think we're going to start seeing some people drop away from it, and rightly so, because if you're constantly paying for the service and you're not getting everything, then what are you paying for? Free games are only good as long as they're quality games, and there are going to be hit and miss reactions to what consists of a quality game. But for the larger part, I think we're going to be fine with this. I think it's news right now. I think it will get picked up and there'll be a massive negative trail from it. But in a week's time, we'll get another update of some sort and people will kind of forget about this. So I think the main thing to see is that we are getting a wider reach to the games that we can see coming, and also the devices that we can play on, which, let's face it, Stadia is supposed to be available on every screen in our home. And this is one step closer to that. So, guys, I'm going to leave this one here. I said it was only going to be a short one. Again, I'll link to the StadiaSource article that also shows you what phones are available to use under this new update. I will link the Stadia, sorry, it's not the Stadia, the Test Flight app as well, so you guys can go on and register for that. And again, please leave some comments below to let me know your thoughts on this. Do you have one of those phones? Does it work? What's your experience in that? And please also don't forget to like and subscribe to the video as well. Alright guys, until next time, thanks very much. See ya.